Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Crazy D's Equipment. So it can be an absolute circus when you're out there looking for an 8N Ford. So today we're going to go over the things that you should look at and stuff that you should check out before you purchase your 8N Ford. So ladies and gentlemen, come on down and let's check out the wild and crazy 8N Ford. So guys, this is an 8N Ford. It's just come in. I bought this thing on site, on scene, off of an online auction. I mean, there was some pretty cruddy pictures of it. They didn't really show much, but we purchased it the other day. My driver picked it up and brought it in, so we're going to go over it for the first time, but I'm going to use this opportunity to show you guys what you should look for when you're out there looking at an 8N Ford. So you find one on Craigslist, or you found one at some other place like that, the classifieds of something or whatever, and you go and you're looking at this tractor, you're planning on purchasing the 8N, and these are some of the things that I think you should definitely check out and look over to know that you're getting a good tractor, because some of these things can be a little costly to repair, and some of these things are going to tell you what kind of life this tractor's had. Has it been worked hard and put away? There's an old saying, you know, worked hard and put away wet. I've never quite understood that, but that's something my grandfather and my uncles used to always say when we were kids. So, you know, we're going to go over the things you should check before you buy your 8N, and the cost of repairing these things if you need to repair them. So the first thing we're going to start with is the radiator. So you're going to want to pop this little grill open, and there's a little doohickey here, and it folds down nice and neat like this. This one's a little bung up. You're going to look at this radiator, and you're going to see, is there crust built up on the bottom? You want to kind of look up underneath the hood here, see if there's crust built up along the top. Look at these fins. Does it look like fluid's been linking or dripping, or you've been losing fluid through a bad point on the fins? Now you're going to want to do it on the back side too, not just here on the front. Also kind of look at the ground underneath the tractor, where it's been sitting, why it's been waiting for you to see it. You've seen this one here is there's some drops on the ground, and they are antifreeze. I checked them just a minute ago. So you're going to want to know where's that antifreeze is coming from. If you need to replace a radiator, all state tractor parts, about $250, $260 you can get a radiator. So that's not too bad. You can find them on eBay, used ones a little bit cheaper, but I'm going to say if you're going to replace it, you might as well go ahead and replace it with new parts. So once you've gone over this area and you check the radiator, the other thing you want to maybe look at is check the radiator cap. You know, go ahead and twist it off, look at it. How's the rubber inside? Is it dry? Is it cracked? That'll kind of tell you how well they've been taking care of this tractor. Also look inside there and look at that antifreeze. Check that stuff. You know, kind of put your finger down in there and you pull it out and you kind of look and see, did you pull any oily grum out with your finger? You know, that'll tell you if you got a bad head gasket or such, and the oil water's getting mixed in the system. Also look at that antifreeze. Is it just water? Because if it's just water, there's something going on. For some reason, they quickly filled the system with water so the tractor wouldn't overheat while it was being test drove and stuff. That's a sign that I would definitely make me probably double think purchasing that tractor. Is the antifreeze, does the antifreeze look diluted? Is it dark green in color? This stuff here is dark green and it looks pretty good, so that's a good sign there. So let's move on to the next part of the tractor. So before we get any further back on this side of the tractor, while we're up front here, let's go ahead and we'll look at our front tires. We want to look at them and see and make sure there's no big cracks in the sidewall. Something that looks like the tire's been flat and then just aired up. No big breaks or anything in them. The tread on these things, it doesn't. I mean, it's not going to really matter how much tread and stuff you got. But look how new the tires. Look how good the rubber is on the tire. These here have been replaced recently, and they look pretty good. The other thing is you're going to want to take this tire, and you're going to want to kind of shake that front end. You want to feel if those bearings and stuff in the front are in good shape. You don't want to grab that tire and go thump, 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 where it moves a whole bunch. A little bit of movement's okay, but a whole lot of movement is bad. And then the other thing is you want to take this tire and you want to wiggle it back and forth like this. And you want to watch this steering bar here. If you can wiggle this tire a whole bunch back and forth, and this steering arm moves a whole bunch while you're doing that, that's usually a sign that the steering gearbox is pretty wore out on the tractor. You know, that's not a great sign. That's going to tell you that this old 8N Ford has been used and used and used. So that probably means a history of problems, or a future of problems is maybe what I should say, coming your way, of a lot of work and a lot of issues that are going to come out to someday bite you in the butt. That day you need the tractor really quick to do something is probably going to be the day it decides to let you down. So, but back up here at the front of the tractor again, the other thing I like to look at on an 8N Ford is I like to look and see, has it been converted over from 6 volt to 12 volt? This one's been converted over. You can use a 6 volt tractor just as easy as you can use a 12 volt tractor, but in this day and age, it's a lot easier for you to have a 12 volt system. Batteries are going to be easier to find. If you need to jump it, that's not going to be no big deal. So you definitely want to hope it's been traded over to a 12 volt system. Then you're going to want to look at the front of the motor here as best you can. Now, this is a 48 8N Ford, so the points and the rotor are at the front of the motor. So you're going to kind of want to look at that. You want to look at the cap. You're going to kind of see how old does that look. Has that been on this tractor for a really, really long time? You can get all those parts for that still from your local farm supply store like Orsolin's or Tractor Supply Company, and I think like Atwood's, and then if you have a Blue Stem in your area, they carry those parts, so they're not hard to get, but it is a very difficult job to get into to do. You really have to remove all the tin work and stuff, and I know some guys like to remove the radiator when they do it, but you can do it without removing the radiator. But you want to kind of look at that stuff and see when was the last time that was replaced? What does that look like? Is that the original equipment to this tractor? I mean, that's 1940. This is a 1949. Let's count those years. You know, that's going to fail you here shortly for sure. You know, so, and then, you know, when you're first buying a tractor, you're going to want to be able to get out and use it and not have to do a bunch of work to it to put it out again. So, but let's move back a little bit more on the tractor here. So you're going to kind of want to look at this area here. You want to look at the carburetor. How does it look? Is it absolutely just one great big lump of dust and fuel and oil around it, or is it clean looking and looking nice? Kind of look at the manifold, make sure the manifold isn't cracked. Look around the head. You want to see and look like, is oil running down from the head, or is water running down from the head? So that thing. Also, you want to look across the top of the block, top of the head. When was the last time those spark plugs were replaced? What do those spark wires look like? Are they new? Are they old? Are they as old as the tractor is? You know, so you want to check that stuff. That's all maintenance that you're going to have to take care of once you get this tractor. So double check those things before you buy it now. Again, you don't want to get yourself something that's just going to be a constant headache for you. So, but let's move on back here. So we're going to get back to the operator station of this tractor. I'm going to recommend that you kind of take this and you kind of work your way through all the gears. Shift through all the gears. How do they feel? Do they feel tight? Do they feel loose? Can you get it into all the gears? Is there's a gear not want to go into? Sitting like this, not running, it should pop into all the gears really easy and go back into reverse, and then, or go back into neutral, I mean. And then you could just take it and shake it and feel that that's neutral, and that doesn't feel too bad. That feels pretty good. So, you know, then you go and want to pop this thing open. You want to look in here. You want to look at the battery. How old's that battery? Is that battery ancient? Is that battery new? That's again going to give you some more idea about how they took care of that tractor. So, and then we're going to move around to the back of the tractor. So come on guys, let's go around to the back here real quick. So guys, once we've moved around to the back of the tractor here, there's some of the things that you definitely want to look at on this one. Now, when I bought this one, it didn't have this bar bent, but in the process of lowering it, the one arm got bent, so that's something I'm going to have to fix on it. But some of the things that you guys are wanting to look at real quick is you want to look at this, see how oil soaked this point here is on the tractor. That means that I'm going to have the dock replace that rear seal, which is a very common problem on an 8N, 9N, and 2N Ford. So that's kind of something you're probably going to find. It's not very hard to do, and we'll probably here in the future do a video on how to do that. So I'm just going to say at this point real quick, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, this would be a good point to subscribe to the video, and that we can will be more videos about 8N, 9N, 2Ns, and other tractors coming up. We got a whole lot of farm-all work going to happen too, so there's be some great information for you guys coming there. But the other point you're going to want to look at on this thing is you want to look here and here on the rear end. See, is it linking, or is it losing fluid through the seals here and stuff? You want to go to work at this point in time and start the tractor, and you want to run. You have to have the PTO engage on these because they don't have live PTO, and you want to run that 3-point up and down here. So let's see if I can't get this thing to start. Well, anyways, I can't get it to start, so I'll have to have the doc take a look at that in a minute and see why it doesn't start. But that's something you guys should do too. Definitely start the thing, run it, get the permission to take it for a test drive, see how it drives. But what you want to do on the 3-point part is go ahead and get when the thing gets started, engage the PTO, raise the 3-point all the way up as high. Raise it up, and then if it has one of these bars on it, I recommend to hop on the back and stand on it and see if it stays up with you standing on the back. Because if it's going to hold your weight up, then most likely it's going to hold the weight up of whatever piece of equipment that you're going to use. So, and that's something you want to know. Is it going to hold? Is the 3-point going to hold? Because these things are notorious for the hydraulic cylinders breaking or the seals going out in them and stuff. And it's a very easy, it's a good fix if you, it's not a hard fix, and parts wise you're probably looking at probably $100, $150 to get everything you need, new seals and new gaskets and stuff for the top end of the rear end and stuff. We have done a video on how to do it, so if you're curious, you can go back. I believe, I'm not remember what the name of that video is, but if you just go through in my 8N playlist, you can find that video on how to do that repair. Now, the last and the final thing that I'm going to look at on these 8Ns before I decide that it's worth my money or it's worth purchasing is I'm going to look at these rear tires. How are these rear tires looking? Remember, these tires are going to be the most expensive thing on here. They're 28s, so is the rim size. So they're not too hard to find, but they are fairly costly if you're looking at a new pair. New pair, you're looking at about $300 to $500 for on the rear. So if you have to buy two, you're looking at another $1,000. So if you gave $2,000 for the tractor and you have to put new rear tires on the back, now you're into an this 8-in $3,000, and it's going to be very, 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 very difficult to get your money back at that cost. Even if you pick this thing up for say $1,500 to $1,800 and you end up having to put new tires on the back, well, now you're in it, you know, $2,800, and I do believe at $2,800 you're probably going to struggle to ever get your money back out of these, because these things are steadily losing their value. They're still great tractors, they're still handy to have around, but more and more as it's easier and easier to buy small compact tractors like the Kubotas and the Coyotes and the Mahindras and the LS's, and you can go to the sporting goods stores and buy compact tractors from them. These things are losing their value. They're going down and down and down and down and down. So, you know, that's just something to think about when you buy this. But when you're looking at the rear tires, back to that, you want to make sure that they're not severely cracked, that it doesn't look like the tread's peeling off. How old are they? Are they the original tires to the tractor? Have they been replaced? If you look at this tread here, this is definitely an older style tread on this tire than it is on this tire. That's something else. You know, tractors do a little bit better if the tread matches. That's not totally necessary, but they do better if the tread does match. So, but I just want to kind of go over some of these things with you guys and some of the stuff that you probably want to look at before you purchase your 8-in Ford. If you guys have any comments about things that maybe I should have mentioned when you guys are purchasing an 8-in Ford, please put it down in the comment. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and thank you so much for coming in and watching another episode of Crazy D's Equipment.